high crimes.
Dang. Oh, dang. Need to fix the cameras. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Welcome to episode 20 of High Crimes with your hosts, me and Cameron. It's me and Cameron. I'm pretty sure we're the hosts. The other guys are all guests. Me and Cameron are the big ball sack hosts.
What's that?
What?
What?
What'd you say? You want to wrestle about this, Gene? No
Gonna
cussing,
promise
Gene.
everyone something. We killed the goal.
All right, if we hit the goal, I will get I'll get fixed.
We'll do society a favor.
No, we'll do movie night, I guess, if we hit the goal. We got a big crazy goal. Yes, but it has to be a good movie, one about stuff and things.
About stuff, about characters going along a series of plot points.
Yeah, good plot points though. Plot points that I deem good. So we made it 2 minutes, Gene, without cussing. I'm proud of you so far.
We got 8 minutes to go. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll make it.
What's behind you there, Cam? You got some got some spectrum going on behind you.
The
That's
real
neat.
Sonic with the tan arms, not the blue arms.
Ooh, the real Sonic. So, yeah, everyone here, hit the like button for us. Let's get past 10 likes and everything. Hit the thumbs up button. So, if you guys want to watch the original video we're about to watch, there's a link in the description below. It's cool guy stuff. Right, Gene?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And also, just so you guys know, anybody who comes through that watches this for the first time and stuff, which sometimes there's a lot of people that come through and watch after the streams are done, we make lots of jokes, lots of crude humor will happen on these different episodes and everything, and we're just having fun, right, Gene? We still care about these cases and think it's horrible to murder people. Murdering people's not nice, Gene. That's why you should
Not
stop.
nice.
Look at him copying me. See, as soon as he saw me wearing the beanie, he's like, "Oh, I better."
I didn't know I wasn't wearing it.
Look, I'm like Shabisky, guys. Look at me. Oh, God.
Gene's wearing a man bun.
Yeah.
Show us your bun.
He's like Steven Seagal or something over there.
Well, it's like you're not allowed to just have loose hair in the professional world. If you got long hair, you got to put it in a bun.
That's hot.
All those like stiffs and everything.
So, have you ever heard of this before? The Leaf murder? Any of you guys?
No.
No?
I'm guessing he's a landscaper.
Who knows? We're going to find out.
Maybe.
But I know that I at least know a tiny, tiny bit about this and why it's called the Leaf murder. But, again, everybody hit the like button and stuff. And I guess we should get the video started, Gene? Yeah?
Yeah, whatever.
We shouldn't pause too much and stuff because people get mad. People have been complaining in the comment section. They're angry.
I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She's tied up.
I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her.
This is 30-year-old Matthew Hoffman. He's just been arrested at one of the most bizarre crime scenes ever, filled with something so strange that you'll have to see it to believe it. After sitting in complete silence for hours, in approximately 3 seconds, you'll see him finally crack and speak for the first time, admitting that a missing 13-year-old girl was found in his basement.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know.
What you doing in there?
But what he says next is completely unexpected. When Valerie Haythorne became concerned that something horrible had happened to her coworker after she failed to show up for work, she broke into her house only to find a disturbing scene. However, she would soon discover that her coworker wasn't the only one missing, and the truth of what happened was even more horrific than anyone even feared. The nightmare began on Wednesday, November 10th, 2010 in Apple Valley, Ohio, when 32-year...
Let me bring the chat up real quick here.
His hair looks oily.
The wiener looks oily.
Is that a she, he or she? I assume their gender.
Oh,
it says Tina Herman there. So what,
Oh, okay.
Let's work from there and extrapolate.
What? I didn't see that info at the bottom. And the image was blurry at first.
Looks like a pretty. It looks like a feminine.
No, if you go
person,
back a
female.
few seconds, it was pretty like blurry and stuff.
It's a very handsome
Oh, was
woman.
it blurry?
Yeah.
It's a very handsome one. Okay, let's see. God, stop.
But yeah, her hair
being
still looks oily though.
You look oily.
Year-old Tina Herman, a reliable employee at the local Dairy Queen, missed a day of work. For most people, this wouldn't be a big deal. However, she also wasn't answering any texts or calls, all of which was highly unusual for her. Concerned for her well-being, Valerie Haythorne, Tina's manager, decided to drive by her house and make sure everything was okay. She saw Tina's truck was in the driveway with another unknown car, and that the lights were on inside the house. But she still felt like something wasn't quite right. She called the police and told them that Tina hadn't shown up for work.
Sheriff Barber's office.
Hi, my name is Valerie Haythorne,
Uh-huh.
and I work out at Dairy Queen. I'm the general manager out there.
Uh-huh.
One of my employees did not show up for work this afternoon at 4 o'clock,
Okay.
which is totally uncharacteristic of her. She's one of my managers.
Okay.
I drove out by her house and went and knocked on the door, left her a note. She's not answering her phone, which is totally uncharacteristic. She's not answering her texts, and she is not at home, but her truck and her coat are in her house. Her truck's there and her coat is in the house. I'm very concerned about her.
What's her name?
Her name is Tina Herman, Herrmann.
Okay.
I know that she and her boyfriend are splitting up, and he...
See, like, Gene's a jerk. He makes fun of people who are missing and stuff. He's like, oh, there's the victim. You know, they kind of look like a dude, maybe. Oh, I'm Gene.
They deserve to be criticized as much as anybody else. Why should they get special treatment? I mean, they probably like died like 3 or 4 years ago. When how long do you have to wait to make fun of a dead person? Like
kick him off the show, Red Eye. Kick him off the show.
I can't be associated with anything like this. I'm out of here.
We don't associate
you never
with
make jokes
Gene,
about
guys.
dead people.
He forced himself on the show. We didn't even want him here.
Can be a real jerk
It's like-
with her.
Okay. Do you have a phone number for her?
Oh, God, I do, but it's in my phone. I'd have to call you
Okay,
back.
that's fine. What was your name again?
My name is Valerie Haythorne.
Okay. Okay, I will have a deputy swing out there and check on her.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anytime.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
Responding rather quickly, 2 different officers at different times showed up to check the residence, but when they knocked, no one came to the door. They left the matter unresolved. The next day, an officer called East Knox Schools to find out if Tina's 2 children, 13-year-old Sarah Maynard and 10-year-old Cody Maynard, had been in school. They were told that both children were in school on Wednesday but hadn't shown up on Thursday. Soon, a man named Ron Metcalf was also contacting the police because his girlfriend, 41-year-old Stephanie Sprang, appeared to be missing. She was Tina's best friend, and they'd been together before he lost contact with Stephanie. Ron had last spoken to Stephanie around 12:45 on Wednesday, but she hadn't answered any of his calls since then. Around 4 p.m. on this same Thursday, Tina's determined boss, Valerie, decided to take matters into her own hands. When she got to Tina's house, she noticed that Tina's truck was now gone from the driveway, and only the unknown vehicle was left. This vehicle would turn out to belong to Stephanie. When her knocks on the front door went unanswered, Valerie decided to enter the house using an unlocked window on the back porch. Once inside, she saw blood in the bathroom and on the carpet, as well as splattered throughout the home. She immediately left the house and called the police.
Someone was
I think
on
she
there.
did it.
No, someone... I was going to make a period joke, Jane. God, you ruined my period joke. I was going to say someone's on their period.
That was really inappropriate of Gene to ruin your inappropriate joke.
Yeah, fuck you, Gene.
Shouldn't joke about dead people like that.
I was only joking about periods, and periods are funny. Shut up.
Yeah.
But you don't think that maybe she's the one behind it?
This is Deputy
Considering that she,
I think it's the chair. That chair. The
Well, I mean,
the one on
you don't
the
think
left.
she's, like, using the unlocked windows like an alibi or whatever? Like she came in because she was concerned? Think that maybe she knew that all this stuff was going down?
Investigator Gene, at your service. He figured it out. It was her all along. It's not even who they're going to say it is. It's this bitch. This random bitch. Yeah.
She's that good.
She's a genius. What's up, Ella?
I am out at her house now. I just went in her home because I'm so worried about her. There is blood everywhere.
Okay. Where are you at? I'm sorry. I just got back.
Huh, I love the cop's response to that.
Okay.
Okay. Like, he says that like she just told him, like, the weirdest thing ever.
Why
It's
are you
like,
telling me?
Yeah, like, okay, why don't you call the local grocery store and tell them about it? Why are you telling me?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
He's got better stuff to do.
I think that just literally threw him for a loop because he just said, I just got back today, so I think he must have had a couple of days off, and this is probably the first call he's copped. Just like, instead of like, my neighbour's been fucking annoying me, or some petty shit, which is like 99% of what they usually do. That it's very unusual for them just to have someone ring up and go, "You've just blah, 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 blah," and there's fucking blood everywhere. He's just okay.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, he didn't know how to respond to it.
Okay, so you just need to kind of fill me in a little bit, okay?
Tina Herman works for me. She did not show up for work yesterday, and we have not been able to locate her or her children for the last. It's been 24 hours now. I just spoke with.
No, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Okay.
I just need an address.
481 Kings Beach Drive in Apple Valley.
Okay, just give
We're
us a
doxing
few
the
minutes.
address.
We'll be in round, okay?
Okay, that's
Don't go back in the house.
We should go to this place and
Yes.
and yes, do a live stream.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the driveway.
Okay, thank you.
No, right.
All right, bye.
Bye.
By Friday, November 12th, the police were officially investigating 4 disappearances: Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. The family dog, a miniature pinscher named Tanner, was also missing. The house.
Now
Okay,
we're
now
involved.
now it's
Yes.
serious. Okay.
That dog ate them.
Like,
You look at the size of that monstrous dog. You saw the size of that thing. That was gigantic. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's eaten everybody in a rage, and then it's now living in the forest as a wolf, leading a
Cody
pack.
and Stephanie. The family
What
dog.
I'm saying,
a
like, when
miniature
women
pinscher.
and children are missing, that's one thing, but once a puppy's missing, I mean,
Yeah.
now we gotta, like,
Yeah, this
invest all the
was-
resources in the case.
this was somewhat of a problem until it came to the Chihuahua or whatever the fuck that is. Okay. Now this is serious. We need to get
Miniature pinscher
we
chef.
need to get the FBI, the military on this shit. We need to call the
Yeah, the
fucking
ATF.
president, dude. The fucking dog is missing.
Named Tanner was also missing. The house was searched for clues, and the first discovery was very disheartening. The initial crime scene investigation concluded that the evidence indicated assault with bodily injury, including a large amount of blood and what looked like drag marks leading to the bathroom. There was also blood on the top of the basement stairs and in the basement. Something terrible had happened in Tina's home, but the exact extent of the horror
Something terrible
still
happened
wasn't
in
clear.
him.
The first suspect in the disappearance
Women have periods all the time. I don't see what the big deal is. Like,
Seems like she was hemorrhaging.
This was the most obvious. Right at the beginning of the investigation, the police were told that Tina and her boyfriend were in the middle of a breakup, and her friends were worried that something may have happened between them. Gregory Borders, Tina's live-in boyfriend, who was not the father of her children, was interviewed immediately after he came to the police station voluntarily. In his statement, he admitted that he and Tina had split up, but they were still living in the house together until either of them could make other arrangements. Interestingly, Gregory normally has Wednesdays off from work, the day Tina went missing, but he decided to work overtime at Target Distribution in West Jefferson, Ohio, about 1.5 hours away. He worked from 6 a.m. to 4 p.m., but instead of coming back home, he said he stayed at a friend's house in Urbana, as they had plans to play golf in Bellefontaine the next day. It all seemed very convenient, except that all of his time was accounted for, and his friend verified that they had dinner together and stayed in watching TV. Gregory received a call from his mother around noon on Thursday, and she told him that Tina was missing. But instead of panicking and coming to help look for her, he just assumed she took the day off and continued to golf. Gregory only realized his assumption couldn't have been more wrong when he finally returned to the home he shared with Tina. There he found that an investigation into the disappearances had already begun. After investigators cleared the crime scene, Gregory's own family arrived with bleach to clean up the blood in the house so that he wouldn't have to see it. With Gregory cleared, investigators had to move on to other leads. The next development was on that same Thursday when Tina's vehicle was discovered abandoned in the campus parking lot of the nearby Kenyon College, with no sign of her or anyone else. But it was something at the crime scene back at Tina's house that soon became...
that college?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember them mentioning that at all previously. She seems a bit too old to be going to college.
...the most promising piece of evidence. Investigators found Walmart shopping bags containing 2 tarps and a box of heavy-duty trash bags. Now, that's not a good sign at all. But in this case, it was also the investigation's big break because, along with the shopping bags, they also found a receipt for the purchase. Detectives wasted no time requesting the surveillance footage from the Walmart in Mount Vernon and began scouring it for someone making the suspicious purchase of garbage bags and tarps, along with a turkey sandwich and a t-shirt which was seen on the receipt. It wasn't long before they found him, buying the items just after midnight on Thursday morning, just to be sure they had the right guy.
That's why if you're going to buy a bunch of materials to kill somebody or to commit a crime, when they ask, do you want a receipt, you say, nah,
Gene,
keep the receipt.
Down.
Wait, and I'm just wondering what's on the shirt. Is it just said, I just murdered 4 people and all I got was a turkey sandwich in this lousy t-shirt?
It's a shirt that points an arrow to the left and it says, I'm with the dead guy.
No, it says he did it.
Yeah, he did it, yeah.
Investigators obtained a copy of the receipt from the suspicious transaction and compared the product codes with the receipt they found at the crime scene, and they matched. The suspect was a white male, 25 to 40 years old, with brown hair, wearing a camouflage shirt and glasses. He was caught on the footage leaving the Walmart in a silver Toyota Yaris.
Says that she's offended.
Using still images of the suspect, the investigators used the...
What?
Ella in the chat says she doesn't like that you're talking about periods. She says she's
are
on
funny.
Hers and,
periods are funny. I love.
It's very insensitive to anyone that might be on.
I laugh at periods all the time.
Ohio law enforcement gateway to search for any owners of a silver Toyota Yaris. It was then that they found a name: 30-year-old Matthew J. Hoffman. His vehicle appeared to match the surveillance video, and in his Ohio BMV photo, taken only 16 days before the Walmart footage was caught, he was even wearing a camouflage shirt similar to the one in the video. Obviously, the police knew they had to talk to him, but Matthew had 2 possible addresses. One belonged to his mother, Patricia Heglin, and was only 0.4 miles from Tina's home. The other was registered under his name and was only 10 miles from Tina's. If there was any doubt that Matthew was the right guy, a search of the Knox County Sheriff's Office revealed that he had actually been stopped near where Tina's van was found within the same hour that it was discovered. An officer had stopped him to ask why he was in the area, but believing nothing was amiss, let him go. The sheriff's office also revealed that there was also a report of domestic violence between Matthew and his then living girlfriend that occurred about 1 month before the disappearances. During an argument, Matthew allegedly choked his now ex-girlfriend. It was also
I do that with my girlfriend all the time. What's the big deal?
Asphyxiation fetish. What's the other one? SMN fetish or...
Yeah,
or SNF.
Yeah, SNL fetish.
Discovered that following the breakup, Matthew had...
I've just been blamed. Thanks, Mango. Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Red Eye did it. That's probably what Red Eye looks like right there.
I do drive a Toyota, to be fair, so you got me.
His eyes red for different reasons. It's like in the reflection, it's all the blood that he's witnessing. Actually, a light.
Red Eye's in trouble. What's up, Mango? Hit the like button, guys. Like button.
Just recently been fired from his job as a tree trimmer for apparently making his supervisor uncomfortable. His ex-girlfriend was contacted, and she told the police that Matthew no longer lived at his mother's house and hadn't for several months. Finally, the police knew where to look for Tina, Sarah, Cody, and Stephanie. Once search warrants were obtained just 3 days after the disappearances, a SWAT team descended on Matthew's home. Because they weren't sure if Matthew had kidnapped the 4 people, they conducted a no-knock search and used a ram to force entry through the front door. They then threw in a flash grenade before they entered the home. What they found was more bizarre than they could have ever expected. Matthew was asleep on the sofa. He resisted a little by not showing his hands when asked, but he was quickly arrested and removed from the home. As soon
Hold on, let's go back to that. He has crates
than they could have ever
Waller
expected.
syndrome.
Matthew was asleep on the sofa.
There's like some sort of cabinet thing in the middle of the room, using as a table. And
People who have like certain psychiatric conditions, like sociopsychosis, they develop like squalor syndrome,
yeah.
where they're all disorganized and disorderly and everything. That's a sign that you're dealing with a crazy.
A little by not showing
I love the crates on the wall too.
his hand.
Dude, he's an artist. That's modern art. I know. It seems like he's doing it for convenience.
He's
Yeah,
doing
that's
it.
resourceful.
It is cheap shelving, like milk crates or anything like that.
Yeah.
Not bad.
I'd like
Do
it
it
to
in a
be more.
workshop or something. Don't know about my fucking lounge room though.
Or no, I said like I would want to make it more symmetrical, but no, the way he did it, like you can put stuff on top of it. I mean, nah, never mind. This guy's a genius. Well, he needs to start his own freelance business on like interior like design and everything.
I think it's too late for that.
Maybe.
Seems like he had quite the future ahead of him, but yeah, he squandered it.
I don't know. This doesn't seem that crazy, but it seems like he thought outside the box a bit with where to put them and everything in order to make the most use out of them. Yeah, Mango, you tell him. Mango's
Yeah, so
yelling at you, Red
judgmental.
Eye. Shut up.
When asked, but he was quickly arrested and removed from the home. As soon as he was taken care of, officers noticed something particularly strange about the house. There were leaves everywhere. The living room floor was almost completely covered in a huge pile of leaves. At first, the police were worried that the leaf pile might be hiding something sinister, like a body. But after searching through, they were relieved to find that this wasn't the case. Still, things only got weirder from there. There were also bags of leaves lining every wall of the bathroom. After breaking down the door of a locked bedroom, police discovered what looked like a marijuana growing operation that was not active. In a freezer, they found 2 dead squirrels lying right next to a few red popsicles. But the biggest surprise was hidden in the basement. A cabinet was blocking the doorway, but once moved, an officer discovered Tina's daughter, Sarah Maynard, lying on a sleeping bag on top of a pile of leaves in Matthew's basement. Her feet and hands were bound with yellow rope and duct tape. Alongside her in the basement were more trash bags filled with leaves. Thankfully, Sarah appeared to be unharmed, but she was wearing a makeshift diaper made from a plastic bag. As officers approached her, she was very confused and told them that she was late for school and kept asking if they knew anything about what happened to her dog, Tanner. Sarah was likely in shock or possibly dissociating. When something very scary or traumatic happens, someone may dissociate to protect themselves. They may feel disconnected from what is really going on or as though they are in a dreamlike state because reality is too difficult to face. Have you ever gotten in the car to drive home and then suddenly you realize you're almost back, but you don't remember the drive? That is a very mild form of dissociation. There was no sign of Tina, Cody, or Stephanie anywhere in the home. Investigators took care to photograph the way Sarah was bound before they freed her and brought her upstairs to wait for medical attention.
All of that,
Sarah was then brought by EMS to Knox Community Hospital, where she was thoroughly examined and questioned. Despite the trauma she'd endured, she carefully outlined every detail of what had happened. She said that she and her brother had returned home from school on Wednesday and were attacked by Matthew as soon as they entered. She ran to her bedroom, but Matthew grabbed her and carried her down into the basement. There he found some rope that was already in the house and used it to tie her up. He then left her on the kitchen floor for a period of time. She wasn't sure how long before he put her into Stephanie's Jeep and drove her to the Howard Ballfield parking lot. He covered her with blankets and left her there. Matthew later returned and put her into another car and drove to his house. Once there, he bound her hands in work gloves and duct tape, had her gagged, and kept her locked in the bathroom in a closet before he put her into the basement. Sarah said that she believed Matthew had killed her mother, brother, Stephanie, and her dog, but she wasn't sure. She revealed that during the time Matthew had kidnapped her, about 4 days, he cut her finger with a knife, repeatedly assaulted her, and said that he was going to release her before Christmas, but he never told her what happened to her mother, brother, or Stephanie. After being medically cleared, Sarah was then released into her father's custody. Initially, after he was arrested, Matthew was placed under 24-hour watch after crying and threatening to harm himself. Eventually, though, he was brought in to speak with investigators. The following interrogations took place over 4 days and have never been analyzed before. The interrogator reads Matthew his Miranda rights, but he's almost completely unresponsive and barely even acknowledges the detectives.
Bottom paragraph says, my rights have been explained to me and I understand each of those rights. Having those rights in mind, I'm willing at this time to make a statement or answer questions. You understand that, Matt? Yeah. You understand?
It's possible that Matthew is in a catatonic state, which can occur with some psychological disorders, including schizophrenia. When the person is experiencing catatonia, they may be completely unresponsive with their body, like Matthew is now. It's also possible that this is his way of coping with the stress of the interrogation. Someone who is under extreme stress may limit their movements in an effort to go unnoticed, also known as freezing. Of course, it's also the possibility that he's refusing to cooperate to intentionally avoid having to answer questions.
You want to talk to one of us alone, or do you want us both in here, or you comfortable with both of us being here? Matt?
Soon they start to get creative in the hopes that Matthew will begin talking.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you a question? You look familiar. You look familiar to me. You, work out at the gym?
Though Matthew remains silent, he finally reacts. But what he does is one of the most bizarre things we have ever seen in an interrogation.
You know, other people, there's family members out there of other people, and all they want is closure. That's all they want. They've been up for days like you and I have, you know? Heart hurts. I don't understand sign language, man.
Matthew's hand signals seem to say that his heart is broken. This is, of course, not real sign language. However, it's certainly odd that he's using hand signals to communicate, but this could be an indication of Matthew's childlike nature.
What do you want from us?
It's pretty eccentric.
Tell me what you want from us.
Matthew sits with his eyes closed as the detectives try relentlessly to get him to start talking.
We want a couple of minutes here just to kind of think about all this, because I know it's overwhelming for you right now.
I'm beginning to think Matt don't care.
He cares.
The detectives are speaking.
He cares.
As if Matthew
I love it. I love the acting that goes on between the two there. Like, he acts serious about it. Like, he cares. I know Matt. He's a good guy. He cares about this. Like I don't know.
Yeah, he goes to my gym.
Yeah, he's a good guy, Red Eye.
He's been spotting me while I've been lifting weights. He's a cool dude, man. I trust him. He's had my back for years, man. Come on.
Yeah, I just met him 15 minutes ago, and the whole time he just sat there oddly. Really fucking. He's really weird, but yeah, dude, trust me. I know Matt. He's a good guy.
In the room.
Good people.
Matt's
good
like
people.
A douchebag.
He's a good guy. He's wearing a beanie.
Likely trying to see if something they say strikes a chord and makes him want to chime in to correct their assumptions about him. When this attempt doesn't work, the interrogator tries another, more confrontational approach.
Somebody will cry today. If I make a phone call after this interview, somebody will cry. But I guarantee you, some of that cry will be joy. because they know where Cody is. They know where Tina is. They know where Stephanie is. I know they'll cry for somewhat joy, Matt, because I've already heard it with Sarah.
Matthew tightens one hand into a fist and then covers it with the other hand, a sign that he's feeling very anxious.
What I'm probably going to do, Matt, is leave this room, and when I get away from these guys, probably cry like a baby. Because it's working on me, man. Big time.
Finally, after sitting in silence and almost completely unresponsive for over 4 hours, Matthew cracks.
Hey, now, Shad, I just want to say, out of all the killers we've covered, I like his performance the best.
Yeah, he just sits there and nods and or whatever the heck, barely does anything. But now he's cracking like Egghead, okay? You ready for this? He's cracking like an egg.
He's got a hole in his heart.
Yes, that's what he was telling him in the beginning. He's just like Egghead.
Yeah, I got a heart condition. That's what it really meant.
Got a hole in my heart. He was trying to say.
I can't tell you anything because I don't know. You don't know? I knew I must have done something wrong. And I found her in my house. She kind of. And so I took care of her.
Psychopaths often try to paint themselves as the good guy or the hero like Matthew did here when claiming that he took care of Sarah. This is a sign of antisocial personality disorder, also known as ASPD. However, when someone with psychopathy does something horrible, they will sometimes pick out one positive thing they did in the midst of all the horrible things in order to claim that they are good. What Matthew claims he had done to...
Yeah, Gene?
It says psychopathy, but it says he's got antisocial personality disorder. And if you got antisocial personality disorder, that's sociopathy. So he's getting his information wrong.
Nope,
He should be saying those with sociopathy, not psychopathy.
You're not a professional, Gene. You don't know what you're talking about.
Look it up. It's in the books.
I'll look up your anus, see if anything's up there.
See, here's why Gene's wrong. This guy said it. He was on the internet, right?
Yeah, Gene.
So he's right.
Said it, therefore it's true.
Yeah, Gene. Stupid. Pay attention for once in your life. God.
Well, hey, I actually did take a few college courses in psychology at College Park. So
prove it. Show me
all
your.
Prove it.
Show me.
I'll show you my diploma and stuff.
Show me
everything.
everything.
Do you psychoanalyze the bridges that you build?
Exactly.
Whoa.
Well, I was actually thinking of going to school for psychology. That's why I know a lot about it, because I actually been reading about it since middle school, because it's always been a topic I was interested in. But then I realized, you know what, I don't really want to help people. I don't want to go all the way and get a PhD, so I decided, now I'll just go for civil engineering instead.
Fuck people. People are dicks.
Yeah.
Do your bridges have like...
Well, I like to evaluate people and like dig into a person's mind, but I don't really like all the like medicinal stuff associated with it.
Care of Sarah was feed her, let her watch the movie Iron Man, and allow her to borrow his copy of the book Treasure Island.
How do we know anything else?
Kept her entertained.
So I was trying to figure out what had happened.
Matthew's claim to not know what he did is one of the mysteries with psychopaths and people with severe personality disorders, because they sometimes dissociate and can't recall their actions. This is particularly true for the very mentally ill psychopaths, such as someone with psychopathy mixed with psychosis. Other times, their supposed inability to remember is just their way of manipulating and pretending that they weren't aware of what they were doing.
At what point did you find her tied up in your house? Thursday. Did you ask her? Did you speak with her about, what happened? How did you get here? Anything like that?
She said I'd done it. I figured I had done something I didn't know. I just could try to put pieces together.
It still isn't clear what happened to Tina, Cody, or Stephanie, or where they are. However, given the evidence of blood found in the home and Sarah's testimony that she believed Matthew killed them, Investigators weren't hopeful that they would be found alive.
Did you recognize her as someone that you
Wait,
had
did they
seen
find,
before?
when they did the DNA and everything through the forensics, did they find multiple different people's DNA? Did they only find one person's DNA?
They found God's cum, Jane.
Yeah.
God's cum. Right, Timmy?
This was all, it was the natural disaster.
It's
God
a natural
just came
disaster. Oh my
so
God.
hard.
These jokes are distasteful. Okay, I will not stand for this.
Being very unethical, Timmy.
Exactly. Bad Tim.
Realize that this is a person you'd seen before that now was in your house, or
I don't know
didn't
her.
make that connection? You don't know her? I mean, I'm just asking because they were the pictures on the camera and they weren't taken, at the time that this happened. So I was just wondering if in other words, if it was someone you knew and then, wow, how did you get here in my house? But she said that she asked you a couple of times. Do you remember that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Childlike behavior is very typical of people with personality disorders, including ASPD. However, Matthew is extremely childlike. When under stress, psychopaths and many people with ASPD often regress to childlike behaviors, but they often do so knowingly as a way to attempt to manipulate their way out of consequences. A female officer believed to be a psychopath.
What?
Yeah,
I'm the
it's more-
greatest. Okay? You're just jealous of my greatness, Gene. Okay?
See, look at Chad acting like a little kid.
Psychologist enters the room and begins speaking with Matthew one-on-one. She set up the room differently so they're more side by side instead of across the table, which doesn't allow Matthew to
That's
have
one
the
thing they
barrier on
do,
the table.
is they'll get people like food and stuff. Like if they start to cooperate, get them to cooperate more.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll get them some pizza. Like that's what they did with the one kid who, like he shot up the church, the like racist, white supremacist kid.
Yeah.
They got him like some fast food to get a confession out of him.
Yeah. What losers.
Yeah.
What losers. All they need is a Big Mac.
Between them, keeping his distance and guard up.
I think what we were talking about earlier and kind of feeling alone. And that's definitely how I felt when I went to Chicago. I knew no one there. I was the only one out of my class sent there.
The interviewer is trying to build rapport with Matthew and trying to make it seem like she can relate to him, possibly feeling lonely in a city where you don't know anyone. This is to make him feel less judged and to start moving him closer to a confession.
But you had a purpose.
Yeah.
Ikigai.
What's that?
Japanese.
Oh.
Ikigai. It's purpose.
Mm.
He latches onto her comment about a lack of purpose. She'll now likely use this as the theme for why he did what he did, as he was receptive to it. This is a step in the read technique of theme development. When developing themes, the interrogator speaks in a soft, soothing voice to appear non-threatening and to lull the suspect into a false sense of security.
So I did go out to Colorado after I graduated high school.
Did you?
That's where I got into my first trouble. I did something really bad. I pieced it together. I figured it out. And I went and turned myself in out of my first prison time.
But you went out there with a sense of purpose. I don't.
It is clear he likes playing the victim role, and the interviewer will allow him to seem like a victim to get him to confess. But admitting that he had done something very bad in the past, it shows that he has some awareness of what bad is. So if there is any doubt that he's insane, this could show that he's likely not entirely insane.
I guess I burned down a condo. I did burn down a condo.
In 2001, Matthew was convicted of arson, burglary,
There's
assault, and
somebody else
motor
here.
vehicle theft.
Who?
It's that Crow dude.
What a...
How do we know his account wasn't hacked again?
Is this the real Crow? The one that touched my pee-pee with his tongue?
I asked Crow the other day to send me an image of him, like, touching the top of his head with his thumb to prove that it was him, not some hacker. And he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I know. I
Said I was going to use the
he
image against him.
responded to it. He acted like you were being a weirdo. by asking for it. It was funny.
Yeah, that's how you filter out like catfish.
Yeah, I've had people like write Shabisky on them and then send me a picture, like do something.
Yeah, that's how you filter out Scotties.
Yeah, that's like something real abnormal that somebody couldn't just Google. Let's see.
Well, now there's like generative AI, so that's going to create problems.
You're a problem. You got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one, Gene.
Go to one of those image generators, and it's like a 30-year-old woman writing Shabisky on her hand.
Oh yeah, that's on. Yeah, look that up on Google. It comes right up.
Well, not Google, generative AI.
Oh. Drunken Crow, you there? Turn your camera on.
He said he's out smoking at the moment.
Oh, what a dork.
Theft while in Routt County, Colorado. It's believed that he set fire to a vacation condo to hide any evidence that he'd been staying there without the owner's permission. He was eventually released from prison and paroled back to Ohio.
Damn, this guy knows how to get around when it comes to like saving money and everything. Hey, where's Chad?
You didn't want to hurt anybody. You just wanted a release.
The investigator now offers a justification for his actions, saying he just wanted a release and didn't want to hurt anybody. This is another Reed technique used to make him feel more at ease with admitting to the things he did, as she's proposed a more morally acceptable reason for his actions that he can latch onto.
I don't want to hurt anyone. It's not me.
Again, her tactic works, and he repeats what she said.
You know what antipsychotic medication is? I mean, it doesn't. I read about it. It doesn't directly address the problem. It's just powerful tranquilizers. I'll take it if I have to. I don't want to be a teacher.
It's interesting that Matthew agrees he will take an antipsychotic medication if he has to. It appears that he may be trying to claim that he is psychotic or was acting due to psychosis when he committed the crime.
Crazy.
Why do you think that?
Because I must have done something bad. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Wow, that can work.
I know, like with the antipsychotics.
Again, he's playing innocent and claiming to be unaware.
Like, I know people who take like Seroquel and stuff, and a lot of them like make people sleep all day. It's like a catch-22. You're not like going through psychosis, but you're completely bedbound. So it's like, how do people function on those? And that's why a lot of people, we're on a light dose.
And it's like not even asleep. It's like it just blacks you out, and then you wake up.
Yeah, I know they prescribe it. Yeah, they prescribe it for a lot of stuff, and I know it's the most commonly prescribed antipsychotic. I know people who are on like who have like schizophrenia and stuff, like they usually get the much larger quantities. But yeah, it is like a lot of people go off their psychotropic medication because of all the side effects it causes, and they're like just catch-22s.
You're a catch.
There's a little bit of John Morgan trivia for you.
I went off Seroquel cold turkey. That's a bad idea. Because I started hallucinating and shit while I was at work.
Ooh. Do you actually have conditions that cause psychosis? Or ooh, maybe I'm asking personal questions live.
Yeah, don't be asking him stuff like that. Look at Drunken Crow. He's looking cute today, isn't he, Gene?
Yeah. Do you take Seroquel, Drunken Crow?
He snorts it.
No. Yeah, I take it for fun. Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the guy that reminds me of
Where
Gene.
was that?
He reminds me of Gene.
Actions. This is not a believable tactic. And hearing this, it's easy to assume that he's lying and manipulating or playing crazy to try to get out of the consequences he knows he'll be facing. While this could be the case, it's also possible that Matthew has gotten used to dissociating throughout his life, meaning that he copes with whatever unpleasant or uncomfortable feelings he experiences after doing something bad by completely erasing it from memory. This isn't a totally conscious process, of course, because people can't consciously decide to erase something from memory. However, this type of dissociation is something a person can learn to do as early as childhood, particularly people who have gone through severe abuse during childhood. In addition, detectives found an extremely large number of leaves inside Matthew's home. This is certainly unusual and may be a sign of a severe mental health disorder. One of the symptoms...
I don't see anything wrong with the leaf thing.
Oh, leaf hoarder.
I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's cool.
But what is it? It's, I looked it up, like, squalor syndrome, and it's called, Dione syndrome. It's a behavioral health condition characterized by poor personal hygiene, hoarding, and unkempt living conditions. It's most common in older men and women, which is why it's also called senile squalor syndrome. Yeah.
Senile. I like his collection of leaves. I think it's neat.
Yeah. Well, look at all the decor. Maybe he's like an artist and everything.
Maybe that's his carpet. Under that is probably like cold floor. So he was like, you know what? I'm an artiste. I'm gonna.
Well, he says that he's like he's regressing to like a childlike state and everything. When you were a kid, didn't you like playing around in the leaves in the fall and stuff? Make piles of leaves and jump in them. So maybe that's what he's doing. He's preparing for like the spring and everything in the winter when you don't have access to the leaves. See, he's smart.
Yeah, it's weird. I wonder what he was doing, like if he was playing in the pile of leaves or like what? Like,
yeah, all his best childhood memories are playing the leaves and everything. It takes him back. It's nostalgia.
Does he have a TV in there? That's probably his entertainment. He plays with the leaves.
Yeah, a leaf igloo. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Next winter, I'm gonna like hoard all the snow in my house. Try to keep it there all year, so I always have snow to play with.
Guys, let's try to make progress on that goal up there. We're $0 in on the Dank Dumpster Go. We need to make progress.
You know how cold your house would have to be to sustain snow?
Yeah, Gene.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Well, I just wear my winter coat and everything.
Idiot.
All the Scandinavian tribes, Nordic tribes. You know how many people lived in frozen tundra for years without electricity? It's doable.
Did you say Drunken Crow?
Nothing.
Oh. Well,
you need to learn to shut up, Crow. God.
Okay.
Of schizophrenia is delusions
Yeah, see,
in which
Shad's
the
got
person may hold
psychosis.
strange
you're gay.
or odd
You're
beliefs.
hallucinating protocol.
Although Matthew has made no mention of the leaves, it's possible that he holds some type of delusion involving leaves. The sheer amount of time that it would have taken him to gather that many leaves and bring inside lends support to the theory that he likely has a very strongly held belief about the leaves.
Okay, potentially, I can't, guarantee these things. What facility you might go to, where you might go, what might happen, and the attitude that the people in the system are going to take toward you can be affected by the fact that you decided at this point to do the right thing.
The male detective takes a very different approach with Matthew than the previous interrogator. He's
Yeah,
much
Mango.
louder, more aggressive, and more direct.
From the moment we broke into your house, found you and found her in the basement, you owned it all. You own it all. Okay? You can't do anything about the part of it you own.
Now, when it comes to
Matthew
pleading
clearly doesn't
insanity,
respond.
do you think this guy's insane enough where he should get off on an insanity charge? I know the big question is, like, do they know right from wrong?
Well, what does it mean
So do you
for
think
someone to get off on insanity? Like,
it means that they're too, like,
did they get to
like,
sent
they
to
don't
a
know. Well,
mental
yeah, they
ward
get
instead of a
prison.
So
they go to a mental
this guy
ward for
seems
the rest
like
of their-
that's where he should be at. Probably is a mental ward rather than a prison.
I think they take you to a special mental ward for prisoners.
Yeah, and John Hinckley, like, he's the famous case. He tried to assassinate Reagan. But pretty much, like, if you're too cognitively impaired, that can be you don't know right from wrong. And, or if you're going through psychosis, you don't know right from wrong.
Yeah.
So, like, the woman with dementia where the cop broke her arm, where she was, I guess, technically shoplifting, but she didn't know she was shoplifting. So do you think he knows right from wrong? Like, that's one of the big things. with like psychosis is that usually with psychosis, like the base shaman dude, like with when they raided the Capitol, it's like one of the big issues is like he was able to get himself there. When he's on camera, he's able to articulate his thoughts. So when it comes to like schizophrenia and conditions associated with psychosis, one of the big symptoms is like disorganized speech, like word salad. Nothing they say makes any sense. They can't even organize their thoughts to really communicate verbally. And they also like they're just so gone that they can't even really get themselves from point A to point B. They're almost like catatonic. So that's one of the things when people plead insanity. It's like, well, you were able to plan this stuff out. So harvesting all those leads and everything, he was able to actually follow through with a task like that. So that's one of the big things is if he's going to plead insanity based on like psychosis, it doesn't really, probably wouldn't hold weight.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that people like this probably shouldn't be thrown in a normal prison. Like, unless he's putting on some sort of show, which that doesn't seem to be the case.
Yeah, a lot of prisons have their own section.
He's the kind of person that should be taking medication and treated different.
Well, they do treat you in prison, but it's not the most qualitative, like, kind of care. And a lot of prisons do have their own section, like their own kind of psych ward kind of section.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this guy's special. He reminds me of Eugene.
Oh, thank you.
Respond well to the detective's assertive and somewhat aggressive approach. It appears that he's covering his ears with his arms, possibly trying to block out what the detective is saying. He's silent again, and the detective allows the silence to linger in the hopes that he will make a decision as to whether he will confess. The detective mirrors Matthew's posture and body language here. Although this can be viewed as a way of invading Matthew's personal space, it could also be the detective's way of trying to connect with Matthew. The intensity appeared to cause Matthew to become more distressed. However, by mirroring his body language, the detective is relaying a message of understanding.
And if you didn't have a plan and you just put him in the Jeep, or you just pulled over somewhere, there's weeds in the Jeep, so it looks like you probably pulled into a field somewhere, and that's how the weeds got on there. If it's a random place, give you an idea where street it might be on or off of. But you got to be able to narrow the field out for the whole county. And the dumping itself has to be less traumatic to recall than all the stuff that went on in the bathroom. Just tell us where to look. And I will stand up in court and say that you did.
Worst interrogation ever. It's like, just tell me. It's like.
I think one of the reasons why he's probably pleading is because this guy, unless he's faking it, like, they're mentioning how he's reverting to, like, a childlike status. They're kind of, like, treating him like a little kid.
Well, no, he went in real hot, and the dude literally fucking curled up in a fucking ball while still sitting up on a seat and blocked his ears and started going, rocking, la, 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 la. And he's just realized, oh, shit. And he's pumping the brakes now. And now he's the exact opposite. Like, he's playing good cop, bad cop, but there's only one dude in the room, which is why...
Dude,
probably should have taken a wingman in, buddy.
Yeah, that cop's got dissociative identity disorder.
Someone needs to interrogate him next.
Yeah, he's going to be the next criminal.
To Sarah myself and tell her that you did.
The detective returns to this theme that has Matthew looking like a good guy. He even uses Sarah seeing him as helpful as a bargaining chip.
Okay, I don't want you to get upset, but the reason we're driving around, and we don't have to drive around. Okay, remember I came in here saying that I didn't want to drive around unless there was some value.
Keep oscillating between treating him like a good guy or bad guy.
Will you see something that will, prompt your memory? But I want to talk about what the possibilities would be for that location. Okay? In other words, not across the street. You're not going to put bodies across the street. What would you do, from there? In terms of a place you might...
He has good manners for a guy that just murdered a bunch of people.
Mm-hmm.
Very polite.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if they're murdered yet. They haven't found them.
Shut up. Okay, I'm just
one that they found still
based
alive.
on this guy's craziness.
Well, you think all crazy people are murderers, Shaq?
Yeah, that's why I think you're a murderer.
Oh, thank you.
Matt, we're not going to be mad at you if you don't know exactly. Your memory is not exact. Because you have said that you want to know. You're afraid to find out, but there's a part of you that wants to know. If it doesn't happen, genuinely, then it doesn't happen. I'm not going to be upset.
Matthew seems to like the attention and pampering he's receiving from the detective and the psychologist, who are treating him with care and catering to him as they try to locate the bodies. The detective almost sounds father-like as he's talking to Matthew about doing the right thing, almost like a mentor, and the psychologist takes on a nurturing maternal role in her soft-spoken and calm way. Matthew's severe emotional immaturity appears to have elicited...
Instead of good cop, bad cop, they're doing daddy and mommy cop.
Yeah, they're being nice.
Oh, that's a good spin on it.
This sort of care from them.
Drive you, let you see it, and kind of see what happens. I mean, I ask you, or Chris may ask you an occasional question. But that's all. That's all we're trying to do. Okay? Yeah, put your jacket on. We're going to have to put a pair of cuffs on you. One of these big Sure.
Or water. Do you like water better?
Can we take a water too? Yeah. All right, do you want to go to the bathroom before we go? Are you good?
I think I should go.
Okay. I'm going to walk down with me.
What is the jacket he has?
Whether or not the police truly believe Matthew's claims that he can't remember what happened to the 3 missing people, they took him on a ride in an effort to refresh his memory. He didn't reveal anything. It's possible that Matthew simply wanted to escape from the interrogation room, and this car ride was a break for him from the intense questioning. The next day, Matthew was once again brought back into the interrogation room. This is now day 4. The detective removes Matthew's handcuffs. This is a gesture of goodwill in the hopes that he will appreciate it and be more cooperative with them.
Does that need to go in the microwave, or is it okay? Okay.
Giving him food and coffee are gestures of friendliness they hope he will reciprocate. The detective even offers to heat up his food again, trying to build rapport and seem like an ally to Matthew. He's just come out of his jail cell and may be even more receptive to the outside comforts they're providing him. He doesn't say thank you or appear appreciative, which further displays his antisocial personality.
You guys just starting your day?
Well, pretty much. It's about 9:30. A little bit earlier. You normally an early riser, or do you stay up late and sleep in?
I get up early.
This is just to get him comfortable with them again and get him talking. He clearly prefers to sit in silence, so this is essential for someone like this.
What are your thoughts today after the things we talked about and kind of left it last night with you feeling like you wanted to do what you could to help?
His behavior could point to severe trauma and/or mental defect. The detective realizes he must take some sort of action to get anywhere with Matthew and asks the other interrogator to step out.
Chris, would you give us a couple minutes? Okay. Did you ask the little chain camera?
Okay.
I'll put it for you, but I want to give you what you asked for.
Changing the dynamic in the room can sometimes prove useful. The detective slides his chair closer to Matthew, invading it.
Did he pretend like they stopped recording? Like, he said turn the camera off and stuff. He's pretending like he's okay.
His personal space to try to snap him out.
This is where the killer thinks the cameras are off. Okay, I see.
Out of the days he's in.
This is not unusual for us. I mean, a lot of times somebody wants to talk to one together. She won't take it personally.
Matthew shifts in his chair, positioning himself slightly away from the detective. This may be a sign that he's trying to decrease his feelings of discomfort about the detective sitting so close to him.
It's more than one time that I've advocated for the person that I'm working with as a result of how things have gone. So when I tell you that, this is what I'll do or what I can't do, or
When the detective states that he has in previous cases advocated for the suspect, Matthew quickly looks up and makes eye contact with the detective for the first time since he's been in there. This statement has piqued his interest and attention, and the detective should take note of this and continue to use this theme of him being able to help him.
What is that thing? Can you answer? This thing here? On the floor. Well, yeah, it's connected.
Well, that's all. That's just a surge, a converter that converts electrical current into a current that computer hooks up. And that computer is a CVSA, which is a type of computer that analyzes voice stress. It's kind of one of the newer types of lie detectors that they use.
So isn't that a microphone?
No.
Despite Matthew appearing to be in a daze the majority of the time, this question about a microphone shows that he's aware of his surroundings and he likely has some sort of plan, which is why he's wondering if he's being recorded. He's likely not as lost and distraught as he's presented to be.
What's the thing in your ankle?
Oh my God. Just leave it there.
Matthew continues to delay because he keeps discussing things that aren't relevant and then asks to use the bathroom.
This coffee's kind of getting me. Can we go to the bathroom?
Yeah.
Right.
No. You're not going to try and overpower me and take my gun or anything, right?
No, you might. If you want to, you can give it to someone.
Okay.
The detective is careful to not turn his back on Matthew, just in case he snaps and tries to attack him, especially after the comments about the gun.
You can even put the base on if you want.
Okay. Do we know another one?
Yeah.
Trubisky, Johnson waiting.
Talking about the gun.
Why can't he just stay over there? What a door.
How's he going to use the bathroom with his hands tied?
I don't
Or
know.
cuffed?
I could touch my pecker with my hands cupped.
I guess so. How's he going to wipe his butt?
Yeah, my Discord keeps crashing.
I don't wipe my butt, so, you know. Who needs to wipe their butt anyways? That's for girls. Right, Gene?
I'm pretty sure, like, guys use bidets, yeah. So wiping is for girls.
Yeah, wiping's for girls.
Women don't know how to
have
bidets.
Yeah, they're not smart enough.
The cuffs put back on is a very unusual interaction, to say the least. It could be that Matthew might be aware of his own impulsivity. Perhaps he doesn't trust what he might do in a moment of impulse. The detective took Matthew to a restroom just down the hall from the interview room.
I'm sorry. I feel like I failed you. I'm sorry if I let you down.
The detective is saying this as a tactic to essentially place the blame on himself for Matthew not being cooperative to see if that has any positive outcomes.
I feel myself.
I've let you down, I've let Sarah down, I've let everybody down.
What? Sarah got recovered.
The detective may be trying to appeal to Matthew's feelings about Sarah. Earlier in the interrogation, he oddly stated that he took care of her.
And I found her in my house. She's tied up. And so I took care of her.
The detective may be hoping that Matthew feels some shred of empathy for Sarah, so he'll provide them with the location of the other victims for Sarah's sake.
Everything I've told you has been the truth, but I'm being truthful with you now. I mean, it's not just about you, Matthew. It's about her. I mean, like I said, I think I failed you. I failed her. Law enforcement, hey, I failed them before. But I mean, that's the package.
Did you hear any of our conversation?
No. In a bathroom and here now. Once I left, I didn't hear anything.
Do you want to tell her?
No, I was wondering if maybe she had been listening with any voices.
You wanted privacy, we gave you privacy.
So, are you probably not going to keep it private?
Matthew revealed something to the detective in the bathroom that he's concerned the female interviewer will find out about. He may feel embarrassed for her to know either because she is a female or because he still wants to appear like the victim as she was previously treating him.
Our conversation, like, is that this?
The only thing my intention, I'll be honest with you right now, is just tell Chris what we said. Okay? But I will tell you this, okay? If you tell us, I will keep that private.
The detective quickly realizes he now has some leverage over Matthew and uses it to create a quid pro quo scenario. Matthew is about to unveil a disturbing and unexpected revelation.
He's red eye. I'm red eye. Oi.
Crikey, governor.
It was me.
And my basement has a basement. That's where the rest of them is at. Oi. With all that.
Obsessed with leaves.
With a bunch of dead kangaroos down there. Go get them.
There's a spider. You better be careful.
The second level's full of bloody eucalyptus leaves, mate.
Whoa.
Oi.
He killed the leaves, Khabib. It was so sad.
So I had a really horrific dream last night.
It was a leaf holocaust. There were so many leaves. There was bags of leaves. It was horrible.
It was disgusting. Getting a knot in my stomach. So awful. This is some really disgusting stuff in the big garbage can. And I was hoping I could make some excuse for you guys to kill me.
From what I've heard from their family, that's something that would just hurt them more. And hurting yourself is not going to help anybody, including yourself.
Matt said that the dream dealt with the food processing plant, where they chopped food up, and that there were garbage bags there that then he opened or looked in garbage can or bag, not sure which, and he saw, body parts, chopped up stuff. And I'm not sure what to think now in terms of whether he knows or doesn't know. He doesn't appear to have any concerns about the consequences in terms of trials and courts.
The detective reiterates Matthew's story as if he believes his version of events, but then makes it clear he's holding back additional information. This is to try to get Matthew to disclose the location of the bodies.
Matt, in terms of this deal I'm offering you, okay, so to speak, okay, can you tell us what you do remember? My concern again was the location. Can you tell us what you do remember? Well, I thought you should want me to talk about the offer you made to me, what you wanted to have accomplished as a result of the day, the trip.
I figured that's...
You figure you already revealed that? In other words, you did ask me earlier, am I going to say that? And I said that, I would not say it. I would not give... See, what I'm figuring is that here's some others. I'll bring you right back in to take over this, but I just don't want to throw something away.
Get out, bitch!
I thought that what your concern was that I didn't tell him about the desire to have us shoot you escaping.
Matthew's secret is that he wants to be shot by the detective. The detective agrees to keep this a secret so that he may be able to carry it out. This is all just a ploy to try to get Matthew to disclose the body's location, as he clearly cannot agree to kill him.
And that because if I shared that then they would go to extreme measures to keep that from happening.
There's no trust on either side. There's no way of proving that. There's no way you can just shoot me if everyone knows.
You know that.
If I try to escape, we have a legitimate reason.
But the bottom line is, what does all this have to do with not telling us where they are? How does that hurt things?
I don't understand.
Well, help me understand.
It's hard to tell if Matthew actually believes his claim about his dream or if all of this is just him buying time or trying to play crazy.
And nobody thinks that the person in this position that comes to this point does this of their own, through their own fault. I'm not going to try and figure it all out, but I mean, I know, your dad and mom split up when you were 3. You went through a life without a dad. That's a major impact. It affects a lot of people in a lot of really negative ways. I know your dad was a 40-year firefighter, and you set some fires, okay?
His obsession with leaves and the fact that he accumulates a large collection of leaves in his home could be his way of coping with the abandonment issues related to his father, who reportedly was a firefighter. It's possible that setting fire to leaves, and thus his obsession with leaves, could be related to his hatred for his father or his desire for his father to notice him. People who feel lonely, hopeless, or empty inside often derive comfort from material objects because they might not be able to get the love and attention they want from people in their lives. As a result, they turn to obsession and fixations with things in order to feel less alone. In Matthew's case, accumulating large quantities of leaves may have brought him a feeling of fullness and comfort. However, it's also possible that Matthew may have...
It makes me feel good looking at the leaves. It makes me feel warm inside.
I just think that he's a mad gardener, and he's making his own mulch. He's a very sort of, environmentally conscious person. Like, he doesn't like to waste those plastic bags, so he's putting them to good use. He's mulching, not just in his yard. His house has become a mulch pit. For all we know, he could have just been trying to grow lots of fungus and maybe sell mushrooms to restaurants. I don't know. We shouldn't judge him until the story comes out. Let's just just wait and find out.
Yeah, Gene.
Stop looking at leaf porn, Gene.
Yeah, Gene.
On your
sorry.
Some sort of
Gene. Yeah, Gene.
mental illness and has some strange beliefs about leaves. One of the symptoms of schizophrenia is delusions. Yet Matthew doesn't seem to have schizophrenia, as he doesn't appear to be in a psychotic episode during these interrogations. When he does speak, he sounds clear, coherent, and he's aware of what's happening around him. He doesn't appear to be responding to any internal stimuli, as you might expect with someone who is schizophrenic. To our knowledge, Matthew was never diagnosed with schizophrenia.
With all honesty, Matt, I say this very genuinely. You are sitting in self-pity, and that doesn't even help you.
The female detective calls Matthew out for his self-pity and victim mentality. This is a sign that they are done using this theme to get him to speak, since allowing him to play the role of the victim has not produced any answers. She then directs him to think about the future and how he'll be viewed in the hopes this will get him talking.
Talk to you guys, it's only that so. I don't have any more left.
Well, I disagree on that. I think you do, and you can.
Matthew is intelligent and knows that if he tells them where the bodies are, there's no guarantee of any real benefit to him. The most likely way to get him to give up this information would be in exchange for a plea deal, such as removing the death penalty. However, given Matthew's expression of wanting to be shot, that may not be motivating to him.
They're pushing the prosecutor to have you come.
We're going to make a deal. We're going to put this on the table. McDonald's every week, and we promise to whack you at the end of the month.
Whoa. That's gangsta as shit. Dude, he's in a childlike state, so just offer him some Pokemon cards.
Whoa.
Dude.
You're a freaking genius, dude. You should be on the front line offering plea deals.
Yeah, just be like, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! What's it gonna be? He'll be like, oh, Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh! And you give him that. You're like, wait, where are the bodies? He's like, over at the park or whatever. Now give me the fucking cards. He's gonna love it. Who doesn't love cards? Drunken Crow, you love Pokemon cards.
They should give him a bag of leaves like once a week.
Yeah, that'll be the plea deal. Yeah, well, okay, we'll give you leaves in your cell.
Yeah, one snap seal bag full of leaves every week.
Dude, that's funny. That is the best idea here. That's what they should do. They should come out with like a bag of leaves.
Yeah, just a little snap seal bag, like a dime bag full of leaves.
Yeah, a little dime bag. Yeah, tell us where the body's at. Oh my God.
You tell us where the body's at, we'll give you a shopping bag full of leaves. This is just a taste, this little snap seal bags.
Good quality stuff.
Are they maple leaves?
And have a hearing, and this is it. This is your last chance to talk to us, literally. And
Unless there's a lawyer present.
that's what they're pushing for. You're saying, yeah, you're saying you're still willing to talk to us without an attorney, but that's what's being done now as far as pushing for that. So this is your last chance right now to talk to us.
They'll come and make the decisions for you.
Yeah.
Literally. They'll take that away. They make it sound like it's your freedom to go in there.
The detective knows that it's very important for Matthew to feel like he is the one in control, and he is calling the shots. He makes it sound like if he gets a lawyer, the lawyer will be controlling him. He knows Matthew won't like feeling powerless.
And the lack of the media pressure can also take some of the other people that are, being affected by it. Sorry about that.
Okay. We're done. We apparently are told we are done. Keep everything we said in mind for you. Think about it and think about what you can do for yourself after you talk to an attorney.
Just gonna hear my pads. Man, no, they're gonna take you back down to jail.
He's like, I forgot my gun.
Jail because for security reasons, the attorneys can't meet with you here, okay? Remember, public defenders have their own interests sometimes, and so, use your head. Okay, you're a smart guy.
Just waterboard them to get a confession out of them.
What, Gene?
At this point, they should just waterboard them to get a confession out of them.
Oh, damn, Gene. Well, calm down, Gene.
What?
I'm highly offended by you right now.
They're like electroshock therapy. He'll get treatment, and they could get a confession out of him at the same time.
Yourself, I don't know if I would change full time.
Bad Gene, you're evil. Raisin, he's evil, right? Lola? Agent? Young man?
Shab, did you want to advertise our little bargain?
Okay, if we can hit the goal up there, we'll do movie night tonight, guys.
And what are we at? 0?
Well, it was 200 on the last stream, and then when we moved over here, I made a $150 goal because we got $50 in on the last goal. So it's just a continuation of the last goal.
You did drop it down to 50.
The fuck, Gene?
But I think they'd be more inclined to donate. It's more likely to be reached.
You see what I have to deal with here?
They already gave you 200 the last stream and everything.
No, the last 3 days we haven't really hit the goal.
Well, you guys suck. You need to tip Shab more. Shab's starving.
Yeah, Billy, help me out with this goal for movie night.
And I'm not allowed to tip Shab because that just means that I'm like paying somebody to be my friend. So I'm not allowed to do it anymore.
Gene's mom told him no more. She
Yeah.
said no more, Genie Poo. He said,
cut
but
me
mom.
off.
He said, but mom. And she said no.
Well, hold on. Why doesn't Genie just make up the difference instead of complaining about it? Huh?
Yeah.
Huh? Huh?
Yeah.
Because I'm not allowed to give any money to like you.
No, you're not allowed to.
Means
You're not allowed to say you're not allowed.
Oh.
Who said you're not allowed? I revoked their non-allowance.
Yeah.
There you go. Fixed.
Red Eye says you're obligated. You're obligated.
Obligated.
You're obligated. Yeah. So get the goal down to $50.
Wait, so
what?
Did he lawyer up?
Nah.
He did. Did he lawyer up? Because Raisin said he's just lawyered up. Did he lawyer up?
No, he just mentioned lawyers. He's not really lawyering up. He mentions it, and then the guy tries to steer him away from it. He's not actually lawyering up here.
I hope we can talk to him.
The detective ends things on a friendly note, calling him Buddy, and touches him on the shoulder as a last-ditch effort to leave a positive impression. This is in the hopes that he may at some point change his mind and confess to the location of the bodies. The big question here is Matthew's strange behavior in the interrogation all an act either for pity, attention, or a ploy to get an insanity defense? Or is what we are seeing actually the real Matthew? Matthew later revealed that he made up the entire story about his dream about the food processing plant, where he opened a trash bag and saw cut-up body parts. He admitted that it was all a lie to try and get himself killed by the police, because he didn't want to be injected with Thorazine, an antipsychotic medication, for the rest of his life. He said he still didn't remember where the bodies were. In a written confession, Matthew admitted even more.
I believe they only inject people with it if they refuse the medication. Yeah.
Telling the investigators that he'd been staking out Tina's home the night before the attack, sleeping in the woods.
I do think if you're like 18 or 16, you're allowed to, like, you have to consent to be medicated. So I do think that people in like psychiatric wards, they can refuse the medication if they want to.
I'm pretty sure to get medicated against your will, it's got to be court ordered. So, but if you're incapable of making decisions for yourself because you're batshit freaking crazy,
or
you're gonna get dosed up.
Disabled. Like if you're MR.
Well, like this dude's obviously.
Yeah, I know.
Batshit. This dude's batshit crazy. All right, he's stockpiling leaves. There's mulch companies in Australia that have just eyed off this dude's house and gone, that's a model that we need to aspire to. That dude's storing more leaves than we've got. It's like, that was a TARDIS of fucking leaf storage. It was amazing.
Gene.
And he can make diapers for people. Like, that's a talent within itself.
Yeah, one thing they can do is, like, if somebody's, like, having a meltdown and they, like, hold them down and stuff, like, they can do, like, a forced injection that way. But they have to be having, like, a meltdown.
I'm gonna force inject you. What?
Do you think if this guy goes to an institution and gets put in a padded room, the walls and the floors are gonna be bags of leaves?
I hope so. I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's his
what
comfort
he deserves.
room.
That's what he deserves. That'll be his happy place. Gene, how about every individual that tips? You tip, Gene.
Oh.
It's the best idea ever.
You only want me to tip, so...
it's Red Eye that only wants you to tip.
That's the only reason you're my friend, you have me on, is because you just want me to tip you and everything.
The only reason I have you on, Jane, is because of your awesome treadmill, okay?
Oh, okay.
I just want you for your awesome
Well, Mango
treadmill.
said she doesn't like how I got my running shoes on my treadmill.
Yeah. Mango, are you here? Is she gone? Guys, tip. Let's accomplish the goal. Yell at them, drunken crows. Scream.
Why doesn't 006 tip? I never see him tip. Or Raisin Girl. Or Young Minded.
Yeah, they're slacking.
Or Lola. I've never seen that person tip. Or Skeppy J. God, all these people.
Who do they
slacking.
think they are?
Don't you guys want to support the community? Don't you guys want to pay Shad to like you?
They're a bunch of poopy doopies is what they are.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, let's continue this. Let's get tips coming in, guys.
Street. The next morning, he watched as everyone left and then snuck into the home through the garage. His plan had been to burglarize the home and sneak away without anyone seeing him. He chose Tina's house because there weren't any close neighbors, and the door was often left ajar. However, Tina and Stephanie returned and caught Matthew in the act. He claimed he ambushed them in a panic. He wrote, "I was in a total state of shock. I wandered around the house, slowly coming to realization of what I'd done and how bad it was. During this time, I killed Tina's dog because it would not stop barking. It only got worse because then..."
And there's the evil.
He should get an extra... He should get an extra 40 years for that.
This is way worse than when we were watching the other day in bed and the doggo was gonna die. Now we know the doggo died. I'm so sad.
Dude, in court, like they should have him in court, and then he admits to killing the dog, and as soon as they do that, the judge should just bring out a gun and go boom and just.
No. The judge just.
They should have a gun there just for animal murderers. What?
No, they can't.
No, wait. The judge goes to town with his gavel, just stands up, grabs his gavel, walks over the dude and just beats him to death with his gavel. So it's just like,
whoa.
Kill that dog? You kill that dog? Right.
Kill that dog, I'm gonna kill you.
No, they'll put him in a cage and take a bunch of starving dogs and just let them have at it. Yeah.
Whoa.
No, but to be fair, they shouldn't bring it up because it will unfairly influence the jury.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be fair, that is what people are like. If there's like a crime towards an animal, like if you beat the shit out of like a 30-year-old adult, people probably wouldn't care that much, and the jury might be more sympathetic. But if you like cause physical harm to an animal, then there won't be any sort of hung jury.
Yeah.
People like animals more than they like people.
What a bunch of jerks.
Sarah and Cody returned home. Matthew attacked and killed Cody before tying up Sarah. He wrote, "I did not enter the house to kill those people. I did not know a single one of them." Shortly after killing Tina, Stephanie, and Cody, Matthew drove to Gambier to collect gas cans from his own vehicle with the intention of burning down Tina's house. It was then that he was stopped by an officer who eventually let him go. He gave up his plan to burn down the house and instead returned to his own, where he built a campfire, burned his shoes, and drank a bottle of wine. On November 18th, Matthew finally cracked and agreed to show investigators the location of Tina, Cody, and Stephanie's bodies. It's unclear if Matthew's memory of what he did came back, or more likely, if he'd been lying about not remembering all along. He described the spot to officers where he dumped the bodies, hidden in the Kokosing Wildlife Area. As the detectives traveled through fields to a wooded area, other officers secured the perimeter. They eventually found a hollow beech tree that matched Matthew's description, which had a hole about 6 feet up from the ground. There was also a second larger hole near the branches. When an officer looked inside the hole, they spotted what looked like trash bags hidden inside the tree. Another hole was cut in the tree and the trash bags were examined, revealing remains belonging to Tina Herman, Cody Maynard, Stephanie Sprang, and Tanner the dog.
Now,
Matthew later revealed
in
he
like
had the bodies inside.
Like a hollow tree in the forest, it's actually pretty, I don't know, to hide a body. Like, if he didn't, give any information, they probably wouldn't have been able to find them at all. And they might have not have been able to charge him with murder. Because they don't have the bodies, and it's like, he just would have been charged for, like, kidnapping and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, he should have just stayed silent.
Nope.
I don't know.
Offered
maybe
him a cheeseburger, Gene, and he took it.
Well, they kept bringing him in for days and days, and I don't know how long they're allowed to do that prior to a trial and everything. So he should have just lawyered up and so forth, which is weird because, like, he does show, like, a notable level of, like, intelligence in certain areas. So I think it's odd. He's fucking
calling
crazy.
him a good person, Gene?
Well, I'm saying he can be kind of
can't
clever
believe
when
you,
it comes
Gene.
to how he
It's
rigs
black
some of
and
this
white,
stuff.
Gene.
Yeah.
You learn how to think black and white, like me.
Yeah. Hitler was just retarded.
Whoa.
What?
What's up with the lack of tips this stream, guys? Is it cause I'm gay?
Because they don't want you as a friend, Shab.
Inside the tree using the top hole and a rig and pulley system to drop them inside. There's some speculation that when Matthew worked as a tree trimmer,
how they
he
find
hollowed
it?
out the tree himself.
Yeah, see, that's where, like, skills from your trade come in handy. But one way I'm thinking they might find it is, like, if they have, like, any sort of footage or whatever of him going in the woods, or they have some connection to the woods, they could have, like, dogs. Like, they have dogs that are, like, trained to sniff out, like, bodies and so forth. So
Well, here's why I'd say it's a bad idea to do what he did. Now, it's going to stay there for a while, but eventually critters are going to start pulling out the smaller bones, and eventually the wood's also going to rot to a point where stuff's going to start coming out of that tree, and eventually big enough identifiable parts is going to start coming out. It's like, that's a human rib cage, but yep, that's a human rib bone. Oh, and that's a skull. That's a human jawbone. Things like that would eventually start appearing. So would take many years. It's a pretty good idea, but not foolproof. Just better ways to do it.
Seems like he should have put dirt on top.
He probably did. I mean, I don't know. Like, even if, like, which that most likely would happen, like what Red Eye is saying, it might be long enough where they still wouldn't be able to connect the DNA evidence with him. So, or like I don't know, like if their DNA's not on file, they wouldn't be able to connect like the bodies or with them either. So that might be an issue. So it still might buy them enough time where they're not able to connect the evidence. But what he probably should have done is put it in the tree and then dissolve the bodies in the tree. So instead of dissolving them in his bathtub, just dissolve them in a hollow tree. There you go.
I want to live in a tree.
On January 6, 2011, Matthew avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty to 10 felonies. After everything that was found, it was clear that Matthew had a bizarre obsession with leaves. Forensic psychologists testified that his leaf obsession was delusional, and they believed that he may have hidden the bodies inside of a tree because it was familiar and comforting to him. Matthew Hoffman was then sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That same month, his leaf-filled home went into foreclosure, and eventually the tree where the bodies had been hidden was cut down.
I don't turn it into like some tourist attraction or whatever. It's where the leaf filler was.
Do that. Let's go buy his house and then we'll like charge people to come in and look at it.
Yeah.
Let's do it, Gene.
No, but 006 says they would never have found that. Well, they did find it. 006.
Yeah, 006.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention, dork. God. Alright, so that was the end of the video. Now the donations need to start pouring in, guys, so we can hit this goal.
Cheap motherfuckers.
Oh, wait. Check out my cool Rick and Morty shirt.
Yeah. We're going to keep them here till they fill the goal, just like the detectives kept him in there. Until they got a confession.
We'll keep
so we can wait.
Them
we got all the time.
Yeah, we can interrogate you guys all night.
You can tip now, or you can just wait like hours and hours.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Cameron is do you think Tails is a girl? Isn't that like a rumor? People thought Tails was female or something. Do you play the Sonic games? Which ones? I can't hear him. Cameron's getting into miming. Dude, don't you think Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, that's the best Sonic game? Yeah. I like how Nintendo finally had the opportunity to have like a Mario and Sonic crossover. They have some crappy Wii Sports kind of like Olympics game shit. Yeah. You guys aren't very talkative.
Not quite drunk enough to be talkative.
Waiting for those donos. Unless the donos rolling, we can all just sit here and just twiddle our thumbs. That's right, chat. It's all on you now. We're throwing you under the bus tonight. Why? Because we can.
Yeah, just stare at people.
Like Gene made me say that. I'm so sorry, chat. That was Gene forced me to say that. He's like looking at me weird, sending me rude messages saying, "You better be rude to chat right away. You've been too nice."
Stare.
Yeah, look at that. Whoa.
But what is it? Broncos gaze. He's like that cult dude that he comes out and he cures people's souls through staring at them. Whoa. People can pay for private stare sessions. And then there's it was that one old YouTuber. It was like a weeaboo, and she was like one of the biggest YouTubers for a while, the first few years, and that's all she did was she would just stare at the camera.
Well, I want that gig. That sounds great. I wouldn't even have to talk then. I just put my avatar up and people can look at it.
You guys don't know your YouTube history.
No, I don't know.
Is it Boxy?
What's it, Doxy? That name sounds familiar.
I remember that chick.
She had really bad teeth. Yeah. That's an important detail to mention. See, everything's gotten boring now that Shep's gone. I gotta hold everything down.
Just want to point out towards the end of this interview, they were showing his house again, and in the bathroom, there was all those bags of leaves. Do you think he saved on toilet paper?
Yeah, maybe. Keep on leaves. You've cherished him way too much for butt wiping.
Well, I don't know. He used
or maybe every single leaf that was in each bag had been gently swiped through his butt crack like a bank card or a credit card put through a transaction. I don't know. We should ask him. Let's start writing to these guys and sending them some questions. So, hey, dude, recently watched your case. Oh, so did you wipe your ass with leaves? Wouldn't it be great if they fucking answered?
Looks like her name was Magabon or Magibon. Yeah.
Not ringing a bell.
Look her up. You'd probably recognize her. She's a weird weeaboo chick, and she just would like wave at the camera and stuff and not talk.
How is that different than most e-girl Twitch chicks?
I don't know. I haven't like delved into that like little internet subgenre. Maybe I should do some like treadmill streams. Or I just run on my treadmill for like an hour or two. Yeah. Oh, does the chat have anything to say? Or are they all gone? Oh no, there's 12 people watching. And they don't have anything to discuss with us. Well, since Shab's gone, I'll just show my own content. What do you guys want to see this weekend on like the PPP? And then I want it tomorrow. I was thinking of doing a patron stream where we watch that Velma series.
Well, you're supposed to reward your patrons with good things, not make them watch freaking garbage like that. You're going to get -3 people will show up to that.
I think
the first episode, it's not very good.
Well, that's the point, is that we torture ourselves watching bad stuff. And then the commentaries where you make up for how shitty it is. Or maybe we could watch something else, depending on what people want. We got all these like old like 80s
That's
shows.
gonna be in Seattle.
Too far away. It's like all the way on the other side of the country. What's that?
Are you able to do PPP without Chab?
Yeah, I can use OBS and everything.
I don't know.
Problem is, I've been having issues with my like computer crapping out, so I got to get a new computer. Yeah, I've had the same computer since high school, so I assembled it and everything. So pretty old, but I've been updating and everything. So I don't know.
Does it have Windows 11?
Yeah.
It actually has Windows 11?
Or no, Windows 10. No, but I think it's probably just the motherboard. Because run tests on the CPU and stuff, it's fine. So the GPU's fine. So I'm thinking I just got to find I just need to get a new motherboard. I'll probably just do that. Because a lot of times that's what happens when you have a computer long enough. Like the silicon-based parts, which would be like the RAM and the motherboard, they start to crap out. Or not really the RAM, but it's mostly motherboard through.
Capacitors on motherboards pop like zits after
Yeah.
about 5 years. But here's the thing. If you get lucky and it's certain as long as you don't turn your computer off, it'll keep going. It's just if you shut down and reboot, you may be in a spot of bother. So you get a little bit of extra life out of them once you see them popping. And like my motherboard is now 4 years old, but it's got military grade capacitors on it because it was incredibly expensive, this motherboard. So it should last several years. I'm already on year 4 with it. I don't turn it off. It's just been on since I fucking got it. It's still running. It's still doing good. One day it's going to go. It'll probably be the solid state drive that dies first. Because they eventually start getting bad sectors, and eventually you get enough bad sectors, and it'll just go.
You're a bad sector.
Entropy.
Shit.
One of the laws of thermodynamics. Everything breaks down.
Molecular migration.
Yes.
If it gets too hot, so that's why you keep it cool. It should theoretically give it a longer life.
So, all right, I guess we're gonna go ahead and end this episode here. We're done with the cool guy video. The guy liked leaves and trees, and he was hated
An
for
odd
it.
fetish.
He was mulching people. That's what he was doing.
You know what? It's Do you think it's probably like a conspiracy where everyone in town, it's like, that's that weird leaf hoarder. Guy's like odd. He's a creep. Just get rid of him.
He didn't do nothing wrong, poor guy.
I think Gene was right. It was the boss.
Okay. I might come back with another stream. Thank you guys for the support on this stream. Thanks for hanging out with me, everybody.
Bye-bye, chat.
All right. Peace out, guys. Peace the